Welcome back to another episode of the Mustang Blueprint. I'm Riley Kremlish, and today I'm here with Jack Clark and SMSU and Mustang Blueprint alum Morgan and Mavi. How are you guys today?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm good.
We're good. What's it like to sit on that side of the couch?
It feels great.
I mean, I've been here before, but honestly, it's great, honestly.
Good. Awesome. Well, today we just want to ask you guys what life is like as an alum and how college and activities around the university prepared you for that. So what have you been doing since you've been graduated?
Well, fun fact, I guess I graduated and then I just missed college too much and I decided to come back because why not?
I graduated this past December and I'm currently still on the job hunt right now. So that's what I've got going for me.
How long were you away from school before you came back, Mavi, and what did you do in that time period?
I was away for like a year and then I worked with our Chamber of Commerce here in Marshall, which was great, really fun experience. And then I am now doing a master's in cybersecurity, so very different field for me, yes.
What advice do you guys have for freshmen or incoming freshmen on just, what they should be looking out for as when it comes to going through college?
Honestly, I would say, just enjoy it. It goes by really fast, and I know that's probably kind of cliche to say, but, looking back on, pictures and videos, even just thinking about my time in college, obviously I still live here in Marshall for the time being, but, seeing people out and about doing things, going to games, supporting one another in that college atmosphere, I do miss it. So enjoy it while it lasts.
I love that. It does go really fast. Yeah. Yes. I mean, you guys probably are feeling it on your last semester. So I would say that other than enjoying it for sure, get involved on get out of your comfort zone, kind of, burst the bubble. Don't stick with just that one group friend, go around, meet people, especially people that you probably wouldn't meet, if it wasn't in this scenario. I would say go explore, learn about people and different things.
Did you meet those people through activities you were involved in? Do you think those activities helped you when you were interviewing for jobs and just the experience that you had other than just classwork?
1,000%. I would honestly say that being involved in the podcast, being on both sides of the couches, being interviewing other people, I think that also has helped with the job search and being more comfortable talking to people that I don't know. But then just any other club that you do and meeting new people, getting out of your comfort zone and being able to talk to other people, I think that influences the way that I speak to people even today. So
100%. Yes. I agree with you in every single word. And then plus too, I feel in college, a lot of us have multiple things going on at the same time. So being able to be involved in clubs and doing different things, you can use that as your experience for your workplace. So doing podcasts, especially more you guys on broadcast digital media, you do so many things and that's real world stuff that you would be doing and it's extra from your classes. So I felt just by being involved, I felt so much more confident to go and enter the workspace and be yeah, I feel I know what I'm doing.
I think that also doing more than one thing can help with trying to balance everything out too. The more stuff you're involved in, and I guess the more things that you juggle kind of helps being able to manage things on a different level. I don't know. I feel that also
that makes sense. Yeah.
To being able to be in multiple things at once.
And then for you, Morgan, what were some of those things that you did when you were a student here at SMSU? I know you did a little bit of photography and then you're involved a lot with the wrestling team. So I guess let us know kind of what you were involved with when you were a student here. Yeah,
so I was a communication studies major with a graphic design minor. So I just graduated with those. Woohoo, confetti.
Yay!
But I also was the photography intern for the wrestling team. So I would travel with them. I'd go everywhere with them. Aside from running my own small photography business, doing photo shoots for people in the community. And then also I am from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, so I'd go home and do photo shoots for friends and family down there as well. But on top of that, I was part of the Mustang Blueprint. I was a part of the photography club, just trying to get as much stuff as I could, keep myself busy. I did play softball for 2 years, but due to mental health, I decided that it was not a good fit. But just trying to stay as busy as possible, I guess, while managing everything. It helped me to be able to be where I'm at right now as I don't really have much going on just because I'm in the job search, but knowing that I can manage multiple things at once and knowing that I can do that is super like refreshing. I feel like that is a good thing to put on a resume or just have that in your back pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's some like advice that you would give to somebody who's kind of in the same seat as you right now, like looking for a job and, you know, maybe they're kind of depressed or they don't really know what to do with their life. Is there any advice you give to them?
Honestly, like right now it's difficult. I'm not going to lie. Nothing is easy out of college. But just trying to stay optimistic has kind of helped me, and knowing that like I'm a good person. I have all of these amazing traits, just kind of waiting for things to line up. Nothing is going to be directly handed to you. So knowing that like you are going to have to work for it. You're going to have to put yourself out there. You're going to have to talk to people that you are usually not around and maybe not comfortable with, but just taking a step out of your comfort zone and knowing that like everything, it will be okay. It will work out. It might not be perfect right away, but just trying to stay positive and optimistic. So
Jack and I, we graduate this year, and I know some of our listeners and other podcast members graduate. What would you say is advice or things that you would tell people or students that are graduating how to ease them into the transition of no longer being in school, and if they have a job like set up and getting out and getting into that work life?
We're asking for ourselves also.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good question. Yes. I think it's understanding that college and like I felt like when I graduated, I was like, dang, I'm an adult now. You know, like now life is starting like for real.
Yeah.
So I think there is a little bit of that. I don't know if you felt the same.
Yeah.
I think there's that, but also like being confident on yourself. Because I feel like a lot of times we have kind of the imposter syndrome that you graduated, like you studied a lot to go and like perform this test. And then when you graduate, you're like, but do I really know? So I would say, you know, trust yourself, trust your gut, go. I mean, you only will figure out if it works or not if you try. So I would say try, like put yourself out there. And I mean, as bad as it sounds, be on LinkedIn, you know, do all the stuff that we hear all the time and we're like, seriously? Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's really like what works, what everybody's doing out there.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. And also like just talking to people that you do know, like helps a lot. Like even professors, people that you're close with outside of the school, like just having those connections and networking with people, I think is also a good thing to have. Like even like you said, the imposter syndrome, if you're like not confident in yourself, being able to go to somebody and be like, hey, I have this question, and they're like a safe person to talk to, like they can answer it for you. I feel like that also helps.
Do you guys was it easy to keep in contact with a lot of the friends that you had in graduation, or have you kind of lost some of those friendships, or have some kind of flourished since you've graduated, or what is life like, the social life like for you guys?
Do you want to start? Or
I can't. Yeah, I feel like honestly, it hasn't changed too much. For me personally, I'm kind of a homebody. I like to, you know, be around my house and not go too far away. But majority of my friends don't really live near here in Marshall. So it's a constant like, hey, are you free to FaceTime? But like always catching up with people, making that time for them. And then the people that are still here in Marshall, I feel like I see pretty frequently. If not, it's always just a text away, being able to be like, hey, let's do something, or can I FaceTime you, talk to you for a little bit? I feel like that, for me personally, it hasn't changed too much.
I feel like it's a good question. I am the same as you. I'm a homebody. I like to, you know, stay home and, you know, like do my thing. I like my routine. And if something gets me out of my routine, I'm like, oh my gosh. But I think making the time for the friends, I think is essential. I am a horrible texter. So I always tell my friends, I'm like, if you text me, I'm probably not going to reply. And they already know that. So it's like having that, like, okay, every 2 weeks at this day, this time we're calling, you know, like we make the time for each other to make sure like the relationship's still there. I think for me, it has changed a little bit more just because like most of my really close friend group, like they are all over, you know, like some moved to the city, some are in like other states. So like it's kind of all over, but we are always trying to connect, or even like the small things, you know, like, hey, I saw this and I thought of you. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't have to be a full conversation, but just kind of like, hey, I'm thinking about you and like I still care. Because I feel like at the end life gets busy and we're all busy with our own things. So kind of just showing that you do care instead of just being like, yeah.
Right. And I think that's like a scary part because like when you're in school, you're with your friends like every single day. You're with your roommates, like you go home, you see them, and then like you hit graduation, and if you go back home or you move away, it's like silence, and then you don't have like that social interaction that you were used to every day. So I think, like you guys said, finding a good, happy balance in a way that you could still communicate with them would keep filling that bubble.
Yeah.
You kind of just talked about this, but how important is it for you guys to maintain those relationships with people? Because like Riley said, you know, not that it was a forced friendship, but, you know, if you have a class with somebody, you know, you're going to see that person every day, you have that class. And now it's just, you know, you might see the people you work with. And then if anybody outside of that, it's like you might not see them if you don't go out of your way to reach out to them. So how important is it to maintain those relationships just with people that you met in college, not only for like networking and work purposes, but just for like mental health sake also?
Yeah.
I think that's a great point, actually, Jack, because like, as you know, Morgan was saying, as you are like on the search for jobs, and it's like a very big like transition period in your life, I feel like, because a lot of people like they graduate and maybe they're getting married, maybe they're having kids, you know, like maybe they moved away. Like there's just so many different like phases in life that so many people go through after they graduate. And I feel like sometimes it can be very lonely.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh, am I the only one that's having a hard time not finding a job? Like, am I the only one that haven't bought my own house? You know, things like that. So I think just keeping that connection, I think it makes us stronger to see that like, hey, I'm not alone. There are other people that are going through things too. And it's okay. You know, like everybody's at a different stage, and we kind of hold each other's hand and go with it.
Kind of with that, I feel like with the people that you go to college with and like the classmates that you have, like teammates that you guys have shared experiences and you've lived through this pretty much the same things together. So just because that you're not in the same space doesn't mean that you don't still have things that you're going through together. Like I was on the phone the other day with one of my old softball teammates, and she was just like talking to me about how her job is going and like her real estate, like what's happening with her. And I was like, yeah, that's tough right now. Like I understand where you're coming from, because I feel like I'm in the same boat right now. And she was like, well, we should try to plan something. Like I'm coming back to March. We just started talking about the next time we're going to see each other. So that kind of filled my cup, and I probably filled hers as well. Just being able to like talk things out with somebody that you know might be going through the same thing.
I feel like kind of switching over here, like when you're in school, you learn all these skills, you take all these different classes, and there's professors that tell you that you'll use this outside in quote unquote the real world or the workforce. But would you say that when you graduated, Mavi, that you went into a field that you used your degree?
That's a fair question. I will say, yeah. Okay,
you can like, if anybody's hiring, they'll
I saw
take
you
anybody.
smirk when she asked
Right.
the question. So,
Let me think how I'm gonna word this. But yes, I think I did use my degree and like things I learned in the classroom. But more than that, I use experiences and things that I learned on clubs and other things that I was involved in. I think that, in a sense, taught me more than just the classroom experience.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
it's kind of like the whole social aspect of everything. Yeah,
the social aspect, and seeing how things work, because in a lot of classes it's kind of like you sit there, you hear about like, oh, you got to use this theory, or this is what you're gonna do if this happens. Okay, but like, what is the reaction I'm gonna get? Like, what are,
yeah,
Right.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And yeah, a lot of it is just like common sense, and just you have to just live that experience in order to really understand what it is. And
Right. Do you feel that with like your business? I mean, doing all your social media, like videography, photography.
I think with that stuff and with everything in life, like there's in school they teach you like the very like technical way to approach it. If somebody does this or does that, you do this step and then it leads to this. But like in reality, it's just kind of feel it out and do it for yourself, and
like a trial and error.
You'll probably be all right,
right.
just like everything
Yeah.
else, you know what I mean? So
Right. Like you use some of the skills that you learned in class, but
right, for sure. And there's some things that I'll never touch again, which is fine. But that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like math.
Yeah, like I'll
X
I'll
over
use
Y
math,
plus Z
basic
equals
math.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly, but nothing past that. Yeah,
but I should know the shutter speed of a camera.
Right.
should, yes.
That's true.
I do.
What are some things, or maybe some stories or examples of things that you guys did or learned in school that you would say would help you a lot, is going to help you a lot for the future?
I think, as you said earlier, Morgan, I think it's just the talking to people that you don't know how to interact with them. And I am not a pro by any means on networking. I need to improve that a lot. But like my job experience I had after I graduated, that was because I presented something for the center, which the podcast part, and who then became my boss was in this presentation. Fast forward like a year later, I see this position open, I apply, didn't even like connect dot to dot. And it's like, oh yeah, I saw you on this day at this place. So, you know, it's like things that you don't really think about that later on might matter, or like connections that you make that might not be beneficial to you, like right in this second, but you never know in like a year, 2 years later.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I would say like for classwork and stuff that I've kind of taken out of, just like the interview process, like it can be super intimidating walking into an interview with like a boss of a company that you're like excited for, and like sitting there kind of just overthinking every single question they ask you, and you're like, oh, did I answer that right? Blah, blah, blah. Like that. We practiced that in class. Like as a communications major, there was like an entire segment, and we worked on it for maybe like 2 weeks, where we grab a classmate and we'd sit there and we'd interview them, and they would practice answering questions, and then we'd reverse roles, and like we would just sit there and we'd talk. And it was like interview questions that you might see on a day-to-day basis when you're walking into an interview. And I quite literally had one of those exact same questions in an interview I did a couple weeks ago. It was like deja vu almost. I was just like, am I in class right now? Like, what's going on? Like it was kind of like a click in my brain. I was like, oh, that was important. Like in the moment I was thinking, oh, this was like this, I'll never do this. This is nothing that has to pertain to me. But realistically, like it did.
Right, like your people skills that you had to learn in class that you probably are like thinking, oh, just interacting with someone isn't that big of a deal, but how you speak to someone really would show out in the real world.
And I think it was just yourself. Like, maybe it was an awkward setting because it was just me and a classmate, and I knew that like we were at the same exact level. There was no hierarchy to it at all. Like it was in my brain, it was just like, oh, this is going to be homework. But like, taking a year or two later, and I'm getting this same exact question in front of an owner of a company, and I'm like, oh,
like this is homework.
This is real.
This is make or break.
This is real.
It's a lot more nerve-wracking when it's not like a classmate in a CH classroom or something like that.
Yeah, so just getting that like comfortability, I guess, with talking to people, I feel like that is honestly the biggest thing that I've kind of taken out of college, is just being able to communicate with people and like know what I'm talking about, I guess. Like be comfortable in my own words.
Yeah. Was it easy for you guys to kind of get like an extracurricular routine, like when you would go to work and then you'd come home? Or would you just sit there and be at a loss and didn't know what to do? Or did you put yourself in events and figure out what to do?
I was definitely lost. How are you feeling, Morgan?
Crap. Oh, no.
Sorry to break it to you.
Yeah,
but that's my experience, you know. Maybe it will be different for you guys.
Okay.
I mean, at this second in my life, I really don't have like a 9 to 5. I don't go to work every single day. I'm working on it, trying to get that next step in my life. But I mean, right now my house is the cleanest it's ever been. I feel like I have a pretty solid routine that I'm not going to classes. I'm not in school, and technically I don't have a job right now, but I feel like I do have a solid routine of like what I'm doing every day.
Yeah.
If that's like taking my dog on a walk, making sure that like I'm wiping down like random surfaces in my house that maybe haven't been touched in like a year. Yeah. You know, like just the little things that I maybe hadn't been paying attention to. That, I mean, that's kind of nice, I guess, with the time that I have free right now. But
do you balance your photography business into that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've had a lot more inquiries since now it's getting warmer out, with springtime rolling around, graduations rolling around, like things like that. And I do have a set time to where I like will answer emails, DMs, text messages, stuff like that. So I feel like that I balanced that out as well.
Sounds like you gotta pick up photography then for after
Yeah, I
after
know.
college.
Otherwise, we're screwed.
Play pickleball
I will
or
say
something.
pick up something. That was my mistake.
Just find a hobby.
I graduated. I'm like, I want to enjoy this time to
Yeah.
do absolutely nothing
Yeah,
because I
it's-
can.
Yeah.
And then
Now you have too much time to do absolutely nothing.
exactly, yeah, it's like after work I would come home and I'm like, okay, like what am I doing today? I became like a chef at home. Like I was trying all these Instagram recipes, the ones you save all the time and never make
Never
them.
make them.
Never have time.
Yeah, but that was it. And then at some point I was like, I need to find like something, like I know we have like volleyball leagues, pickleball leagues and stuff in town. I'm like, I need to do something.
Right. And I feel like maybe that's good. Right when you graduate, you just have like a break. Because like, I know Jack and I are both
I ain't
student athletes.
running for like a whole month.
I am
after
never
I'm
running again.
Yeah, I'm like, gotta
Unless
sit
it's
down.
for the ice cream truck, I am not running.
Yeah, I'll do
But
that.
I feel like that's like good for even just like not athletes. Is just like right when you graduate, like maybe a little break of like just like you like rotting and doing nothing. And then once you kind of like get tired of doing nothing and you feel refreshed and like revived, then like can pick up a hobby and then that will fill your cup again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Because I do think like you probably need just a little decompression after graduating and the stress of finals and like senioritis and everything like that.
Definitely.
100%, yeah.
I think those last couple weeks, like in December, this past December, I was just kind of dragging myself along and I was like, I know I'm going to be done soon and I just want it to be over kind of thing. Like, not that college was bad or anything. It was just quite literally the workload, I think, with just homework. I was sick of it. But then just making sure that also you have time to take care of yourself before trying to do more things.
And I think one thing too, maybe, I don't know, my experience, I remember the last 2 weeks of classes, I was like you, I'm like, I cannot wait to be done. Like eyes are twitching, I'm like so stressed. I'm like, am I losing hair? Like what's going on? Like just wanted to like cross the finish line. And then literally I think the day after graduation, I was like, why was I stressed?
Yeah.
Like it kind of like goes over your head. So remember that when you're going through those last 2 weeks, it's going to pass and you're not going to remember. So
It's in like,
save yourself
it's
some
in like
stress.
a week.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
That's true.
36 days left, but who's counting,
oh gosh, I think Jack is.
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple minutes left. Do you guys have any final words or advice that you would give to people that are going to be graduating soon or people that have graduated and are kind of maybe in a rut and still looking for a job out there?
Do you want to take it?
Yeah, I can. For the people that are just about to graduate, I would say soak in your last few moments. It will genuinely go by in the blink of an eye. And then for those who are maybe struggling or in kind of a bit of a situation such as I am, I would probably say just trust your gut. Like everything will work out the way that it's supposed to. Be optimistic, talk to people, keep your spirits up, and if you need to, like deep clean your house.
I would say for freshmen and sophomores, because they have a little bit more time, it's never too early to start. It's never too early to get out there. It's never too early to, get involved and do things and start building your experience. Because, I feel like college as a whole goes by really fast. And when you see you're like a junior going into senior year, like, what am I going to do, So I would say start now. Save yourself some worries and, like just the thought process, but also too for seniors, I guess stay strong. I will go with you. Like every single word of yours, I'll make mine, Morgan. Everything works out the way it's supposed to, like trust the process. It is stressful at times, yes, but it's part of life and we got to enjoy it.
Awesome. I'm not too terrified to graduate, are you?
No. Not at all.
No,
not at
with
all.
that, a little shout out before we thank our guests. A couple of our members are graduating, and we would love to have more members join the Mustang Blueprint. You can learn a lot of skills that'll help you prepare for the outside world, and we'd love to have you. Thank you guys so much for coming on. It's been so
Yes.
much fun to talk with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Join us next time on the Mustang Blueprint.
I'm going to say this. My head went here, and I'm questioning if I should say it or not, but I'm going to give it to you. I met my husband at a bar, okay? The reason that I say that, and this is not advice, but maybe it's a little bit of advice. No, but go places, sit down, put your phone away, look up, and just see who's around you. Be willing to introduce yourself to people. Go sit at a coffee shop and do your homework. Don't hide away in the library.